Have you ever seen a pig move at close to the speed of sound? Well, now you have. Introducing the F-111 Aardvark, or affectionately known as the Pig in Australia, a beautiful aircraft that served us faithfully for 37 years. Its role is instrumental in cementing our place as a regional power in the Pacific, and one hell of a show. But why are you talking about the F-111? Well, let's find out. Let's go! New War Thunder video, blind reaction, let's find out what they've got to offer. Transitioning battlefield. Oh my god, is that what I think it is? We've got the Paladins. Ooh, render discarding sabos. Holy shit, that's a chunky boy. Oh my god, it is! Oh my god, it's the F-111. Oh my god. I got chills. Oh my god, F-111. Oh shit. You. Oh, I'm stoked. I am fucking pumped. Fucking pumped! The pig! Oh, we got a Japanese Sam too. The pig is arriving. The pig. Oh my god, the pig. The pig. The pig! The pig! Oh shit. I'm happy. Alright, now that I've recomposed myself, let's have a look and break down the video. This first scene is interesting. I hope it's more than just trying to show the transition through the battle rating. I'd like to see dynamic battlefields. So depending on what battle rating you're playing, the battlefield is different. And here are the first shot of the pig. We've got the Paladins. But let's have a look. Yeah, let's go back to this. I like this idea. If the battlefield is completely different every time you play, depending on what rating you're at, I think that'll be a fantastic thing for the battle, for the game. Beautiful. And then the first shot of the pig, the teaser, the true teaser. But then the Paladins. We'll have Paladins from Israel, Britain, America, just about everyone, Egypt, Iran. This will be cool for their cinematic enthusiasts, seeing their fin-stabilized armor discarding sabo round. And that looks to be a T-54, E2 probably. Yeah, that cinematic shot. I'll make use of that in some way. You get to actually see how it works as it exits the barrel. And look at this chunky boy. What is that? I believe that's the Object 775. Only one ever made, I think. Looks like something straight out of Red Alert from the Command & Conquer series. Just add an extra barrel to it. And there we go, the pig. The F-111A, which I'm assuming it is. One of the most advanced and versatile combat aircraft and ahead of its time. This remarkable machine served in the Royal Australian Air Force for 37 years and was developed by General Dynamics in the United States in the 1960s as part of a project to create a new fighter bomber. It has some outstanding features that were ahead of its time and still to this day aren't used. Had the variable sweep wing that could change its angle depending on the speed. It had the long nose that housed a terrain tracking radar that enabled the aircraft to fly close to the ground and avoid enemy detection. It had a totally unique crew escape capsule that could eject the pilot and the navigator together in case of emergency inside the capsule, and that would parachute down. It's like something out of the Apollo 11 mission. It also had a large internal weapons bay that could carry a variety of bombs and missiles, including nuclear weapons. The Australian government ordered 24 of the F-111C aircraft in 1963, and they arrived in service in 1973 after some delays. They were assigned to the No. 1 Squadron at the RAF base at Amberley in Queensland, my home state, and the F-111 soon became affectionately known as the Pig by Australian pilots and its crews. The F-111 proved to be a highly successful aircraft for the RAF, as it was the fastest, longest-range combat aircraft in Southeast Asia, providing Australia with independent strike capability. The F-111 was also involved in several operations and exercises, such as Operation Jindalee, where they were conducting surveillance flights over Indonesia during the East Timor crisis in 1999. The F-111s were ready to attack Indonesian forces during the establishment of East Timor's independence, and the deployment of the Australian-led International Force, or Interfet. To quote the former Defence Minister of Indonesia, Benny Murdani, the Australians could put a bomb through the Indonesian parliament window and straight onto the table at any time that they wished. The F-111 was also famous for its spectacular dump and burn routine, where it would release fuel and ignite it behind itself with afterburners, creating a huge flame behind the aircraft. This was also done at air shows and special events such as the F-111's retirement ceremony and also the Riverfire Festival in Brisbane. The F-111 was retired because it was becoming too expensive and difficult to maintain. And because the newer aircraft was available, the RAF replacing it with the FA-18 Super Hornet, which is smaller but more advanced. The F-111 A8125 flew on the 3rd of December 2010, marking the end of an era for Australian aviation. The F-111 Aardvark was a remarkable aircraft that served Australia well for many years. It was fast, powerful and versatile, and also impressive to watch. It was also part of Australia's history and culture, and a source of pride for nearly all Australians that knew it. I grew up and I spent my youth listening to the cacophony of the F-111. I love her. And I really hope they add the F-111C to the British line as a tech tree vehicle, not an event, not a squadron vehicle, as a tech tree vehicle so everybody in Australia and the world can experience the joy of flying one of these things. It was described as quite uncomfortable by some of the pilots due to its unique arrangement, but I don't care. I don't have to deal with that. I just want to take this thing in sim 100 feet off the ground and do some work. So what other things were featured in the rest of the video? We had the AMX-10P, the Type 83 self-propelled howitzer for China, the M109 for what we're assuming to be Israel, Britain, USA, Egypt, Ukraine, list them all, the T-54E2, the Object 775, and the Type 81 Tan Sam, which is an interesting addition and sorely needed for the Japanese ground tree. There was no mention in the trailer for naval, but that's okay because we did get the dev blogs earlier, so let's go through those now for the naval stuff. First up, we have the British Iron Duke, which was present at the Battle of Jutland and was captained by Sir John Jellicoe, the leader of the Grand Fleet, rather. And so when I say sorely needed edition, it's a sorely needed edition in the way that Britain doesn't really have a very good premium blue water ship, in my opinion, compared to the other nations and their offerings. So I'm excited to see the Iron Duke, as I've already made a Battle of Jutland video featuring the Nassau. If you want to watch that, that would help out a lot. Otherwise, I will probably make one for this when I get my hands on it, but we won't get into the nitty-gritty details of the ship itself because I don't know the details of how it'll be implemented in War Thunder. The next premium battleship to grace the store is the Yamashiro. IGN battleship, built before the First World War. It fought during the First World War, and her last battle was the Battle of Leyte Gulf, which was one of the most brutal battles in recorded history. Arguably the most vicious fight ever, and she did not survive, only 10 members surviving. She's going to have 12 main guns, 8 secondaries, and in typical Japanese style, she will be an imposing presence. But we'll leave the actual review until she's implemented in the game. But I'm excited to see these ships. I just want to see the other nations rounded out first, before we stack up the big gun battleships. This season's Naval Battle Pass reward will be the gayest of all classes, the Archer, the gay class Archer, which is a torpedo boat, which I don't feel really is a great reward. Yes, it's going to be a premium, and the British line does need more in the way of its premium side, but it's going to be what, 2.3, depending on what torpedoes it's armed with, it may or may not be useful. So, not a write-off, but not something to write home to your mother about. This season's ground reward is kind of interesting in the Italian 90/50 Breda styled self-propelled war machine. It's cool. I love these wacky vehicles, and it's not going to be unusual. It's going to be quite useful. It's going to be that sniper vehicle. You're not going to take this into the front line unless you really, really want to derp around. I really hope that the stabilizers work on the side of the truck. That'll be amazing. Set up for a stable firing platform. If that's not implemented, I will riot. It's Italy. I love all their early war stuff their war stuff. just wacky and unusual. That's the kind of stuff we want from Battle Pass rewards, in my opinion. Plus, it's got the awesome 90mm cannon, so you can't really complain about that reward, and it will be a good way to get into the Italian tree. The Italian do have a lot of premiums, and I own a lot of those ground premiums. But hey, what's another one? The next thing I wanted to mention was the design of a new damage mechanic for killing aircraft. So they want to do away with the whole you shot the aircraft down but he can still fly around and all that sort of stuff and the kill assist. And they want to replace it with a severe damage and finished him off mechanic. In that a severe critical damage that's enough to have previously killed an aircraft, so to speak, it will be replaced with severe damage until they die. At which stage you will get the rest of the reward. Sort of splitting up the kills, so to speak. And that means if someone else takes that kill from you, they don't get the whole reward, they just get the finished him off slice. But I'm not sure if that means that assisting a kill is going away and critical hits are going away. So, based on what I've read, I don't particularly like this change. But I am purely a naval and air player. I don't play too much ground forces, and I think that's where this is really stemmed from. So if you're a ground forces player, let me know what you think about this, and make sure to go and have your say, because this year's really proved to us that if we have our say, we can get what we want from the game. And I love that. So make sure you participate in this. Whether you're for it or against it, I don't care. Just get involved with the dialogue and try and get more information from Gaijin, because we want to keep this transparency ball rolling. Anyway, I'll leave that there for today. Let me know what you've thought about the video. I'm super pumped. It's the first time I've been really pumped for a patch since the F4 Phantom came out and they released that banger track with the F4 and the MiG. Ah, great times, great times. The golden age of War Thunder, they say. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, Commander Tyrael, out.